Well, I think for many of us who have been working in this space for climate justice for some time, the issue of non-economic loss and damage remains high on our agenda, particularly with the Loss and Damage Fund operationalization being passed yesterday. Still a lot of questions around what that looks like. As we start to hear commitments of funds from various countries, we've got to be very clear that those are new funds, that those are funds specifically for loss and damage, and not taking away from funds that have been earmarked for adaptation, particularly for us as Pacific Island people. Our focus on non-economic loss and damage is really around the cultural and spiritual impacts that we feel or that we experience as a result of climate change, as a result of the extreme weather. We've had 2 cyclones in the region already, flash flooding just a few days ago. It's a very stark reminder of what we are fighting for here in Dubai at COP28. At the same time, we recognize that we're starting to see internal migration, both organized, formal migration through the government, but people just starting to move as a result of what they're experiencing. And the processes and protocols that need to be for us as deeply cultural people. What are those kinds of cultural protocols and rituals that we need to have to help people move and leave their vanua and move to another place, sometimes not land that's part of their matangali. What do those protocols look like when you move to somebody else's land? How do you say goodbye to your land that has been part of your community for generations, the spiritual trauma that people are experiencing? How do we provide pastoral support in that sense? And who resources all of this? It shouldn't be the people who are affected. It shouldn't be our governments. It needs to be the people who are responsible for the carbon emissions. And so we need to see that in our communities, and we need to see our parties here really stepping in and making some clear commitments around that. But still very, very important for us as Pacific churches is the issue of mitigation. This 1.5 that we are wearing is a sign of our red line for the Pacific. And Pacific churches have been consistently saying that if you have adaptation funding, if you have loss and damage funding, but if you're not making any moves on climate mitigation, on reducing and phasing out fossil fuels, then this is really just blood money. You're paying for compensation in a way, but you're not changing anything that needs to happen. And so, we hope that we see more traction around the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty. We're very happy to see Pacific Island countries taking the lead in that yet again. Pacific's in the front, and we are working with the treaty campaign to try and encourage some of our other countries in the in the COP to come on board and join the treaty. Yeah, I met with Minister Chris Bowen just on Tuesday in Canberra. And it was good to hear some of the projects that Australia is working on domestically in their transition. But at the same time, we've got to see some significant shifts taking place. I've consistently said that for the Pacific, and our political leaders, I think, understand this very well, that in order to support a Australia/Pacific COP, our Pacific needs a win. We are coming away from these meetings too often now, where our leaders, our negotiators are in tears because the hard work gets watered down at the last minute. And we can't see that happening anymore. So what that looks like is that, we need those who say they are on our side to start now being on our side. We need to see some serious commitments. And, we are challenging all those in the political space to put the political will where it needs to go, and to be willing to sacrifice their political careers, their political futures, for the sake of the future of the entire planet and our Pacific people. That's what we're asking, for them to step up. And so the question is, how willing are they to risk that? But also at the same time, what are the practical transitions that can take place? We are running out of time. The science tells us we are running out of time. Our lived experience in Fiji and the Pacific tells us we are running out of time. And the way in which most of these COPs end up tell us also we are running out of time. And so that's why we are pushing for the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty. It provides an opportunity for countries to sign on and make that transition that needs to take place. So, I hope that between now and COP31, and of course they are up against other countries who are bidding as well, that there are some shifts and changes that take place. Yeah, for the Pacific churches, I'm not alone. Archbishop Peter Lloyd Chong is here. We have other representatives from faith communities from the Pacific here to bring what we call the prophetic voice, the advocacy around this issue. At the same time, to provide the pastoral support and care for the negotiators who are fighting in these rooms for justice for our Pacific people. Leaving home when there is a cyclone happening, when there are floods happening, our families are right in our hearts and in our minds as we do this work. And so we ask the people of the Pacific to pray for us, pray for your leaders, that they remain firm and strong in the work that they are called to do on our behalf.